Okay, we are back. Panda Off The Charts. So what's hot in the Strip Clubs podcast on Pantheon Podcast Network. I'm Danny Myers along with Bob Chiappardi and Alon Fong, and we promised you an outstanding guest, and we've got one. Let me set the backstory here real quick. Last month, we had an industry executive by the name of Stephen Hutton who was on the show, and he kept talking about this new artist that he's been working with. He said, man, you got to hear this guy, Freddie McClendon. You got to hear him. He's in Nashville now, kind of got an interesting niche on music, so you got to check this out. And so between last month and this month, we worked out a deal to get you on the show. So this is Freddie McClendon. He's originally from Greenwood, South Carolina. Freddie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. What's going on, y'all?
Oh,
good, man. Welcome.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know him, he is a 20-year-old singer. He is a former American Idol contestant. What was that season?
It's for season 23. Last season. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was addicted to that show when it first came out when Simon Cowell was on, but when they got nicer to people, I quit.
I know.
It.
I liked when they were mean to people. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I know. They made fun of people, but they bullied
even if
somebody.
Even if they made fun of me, I feel like it would have I feel like it'd been cool,
Yeah.
Like Simon would have had something to say about me. He would have
Sure.
something.
Oh man, he ripped David Cook and a few other big ones out. Daughtry, he ripped Daughtry apart one day. I remember that. But anyway, we'll get back to that. I want to ask you an American Idol question.
Yeah, please.
So, what were these comments that the hosts had to say about you? That's what I'm reading this thing. Let's see, where's it at here? Okay, it says you performed "You Never Love Him," which Carrie Underwood went to tears, and it prompted Luke Bryan to call you. Are you ready for this? The next Paul Simon. How did that make you feel?
Well, yeah, it made me feel really, really good. It was a very special moment. I definitely not kind of a sad topic to bring up, but I lost my dad. He was killed in 2023, and kind of the narrative around his death was very negative, and I kind of wanted to switch that to tell a kind of a positive story about my father and his life. So I really got a great opportunity to do that in American Idol. That's kind of what I do, in general. I'm a storyteller. I started, I started my first project, Present Memories, my first album, telling this like the full and cohesive story of my father's life, from the time, he was young to the time, he passed away. And so that's really what I kind of found a love for in music, is just, being able to tell and express a cohesive story. And I think a lot of that sometimes is missing from modern music. So I really try to when I'm writing, when I'm creating stuff, to create stories and tell something that's hopefully going to touch people in a good way. And I think that's probably where Luke drew that comparison. That meant a lot to hear.
That's good comparison. Alon?
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching that, and being a father, I was moved to tears by your performance.
Appreciate that.
Oh, you saw that one, huh?
Yeah. I love American Idol. I'm an unabashed fan. I know a lot of hardcore musicians poo-poo it, but and how I defend American Idol is that there's not as many outside of Nashville type cities great places to play live and to cut your teeth anymore. Like when I came up in the music scene in the 80s and 90s, there were so many clubs to play in almost every city. You know what I mean? Every night of the week, there was at least one jumping club that would have live music that you could probably get a gig at. And it was a little more support of original music. Covers have always been a big part of it, but the original music was more prominent back then, I feel like. Now, there's just not many places to go play and get seen. So I feel like a lot of people, of course, there's the internet, but that doesn't prepare you for the real world of touring and performing and being a professional musician. So American Idol is a way for singers who maybe don't have the connections to start a band or get with other musicians who have a lot of talent, and now they can find out whether they can do it or not, right? So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there's no correct path to take as a musician or as a performer and as an artist. I think as an artist, your job is to just make stuff that feels true to yourself and hope that it resonates with other people. You can't really depend on the fact that it's going to resonate with other people. You just got to make something that you feel like, moves you, and something that feels raw and feels honest to yourself. And hopefully other people will love it. If they don't, it's kind of out of your control at that point. I love that you said that, because there definitely are a lot of places places to play original music, but it's not as much as I heard it used to be. So I think there's so many different opportunities and so many different, ways to start a career. And I'm grateful for my time on American Idol, and I'm glad to just be moving forward and continue to just make and create new music. It's part of my path, a part of my journey, and I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity I got.
Hey
Cool.
man, I love what you said. Rick Rubin, of course, the legendary producer, said it. He's like, if
Oh
you're not
yeah.
making music for yourself, what are you doing? You have to
No,
be authentic to
absolutely.
yourself, right? It's got to be something
Absolutely.
you want to hear and be passionate about. And as people are going to hear in a second, you're very authentic, and there's a age to your sound, which they're going to hear the song in a second. But how did that sort of those older sounds sort of filter into your music and your sound?
Yeah, I think I think some of the older sounds, they definitely came from my inspiration. I'm a huge fan of of Sam Phillips and what he was able to do Sun Records back in the day. So I love
Yeah.
Elvis, I love BB King. I love all of those guys that were able to really incorporate that old school style sound. And so I think, in a lot of my production, and with my producer David Dorn, who's absolutely fantastic, and he's in Nashville. We like to try to incorporate a lot of that stuff, but really, you know, I think my sound kind of depends on the story as well. Like
Yeah.
I really want I really want the sound to kind of help tell the story with the lyrics. And I think for a song like Rambler, that's supposed to be talking about a very dark guy that's taking advantage of this woman at a bar. You know what I'm saying? When he's married, it's supposed to kind of convey this very dark, this very bluesy type of message of this very bluesy type of message. So that's kind of why it's got that really old sound to it, and I'm happy with it. I like it.
I do too. We're going to play just a bit of Rambler, but before I do this, last month, as I said, we had Stephen Hutton on the show, and we asked Stephen, bring us a song that you think could work good in a strip club that maybe you're working on. And he brought us Drinking Crimes. Drinking Crimes. Don't put a G in there. Drinking Crimes. So for those of you who have not heard that yet, it's on our last show, Panda Off The Charts for February. And I bring this up because what we also have is a Panda Top 20 chart, which Alon Fong is our chart professor. And what we do is we send this show out to people, and a lot of people, when they turn in their charts, they put the songs that they hear on this show. So it charts.
Yeah.
And Alon did Drinking. I know Drinking Crimes came out right before we recorded that, so it didn't get to a lot of DJs to chart it yet. But did it get a few votes?
We're not done charting it, so the chart process is still open. So we'll find out
Oh, I
soon.
meant for last month. Was it on Bubbling Under last month?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll find out before the show's over. Okay, so right now we're going to play 30 seconds of Rambler, and I got to preface this by saying you got to listen to the whole song because 30 seconds is not going to do it justice. As he said, he is a storyteller, and it's hard to cut him off in the middle of a story, but Spotify only lets us play 30 seconds, so here we go.
Boy's a rambler. He'll chase her every night, dancing with brandy, pouring crystal lights, and his old jeans are covered, all tattered with white. He's working hard for the waitress that's higher than Orville could fly.
Okay, so that's the 30-second tease. You got to go listen to this thing, man. It is awesome.
I appreciate that.
When I hear this, I picture myself in a bar. I've never really partied in Nashville much. A little bit one night, but it was a rainy night, so it didn't really have much. But Alana and I went to Austin, Texas about 7-8 years ago, and we walked down that street, and there were so many bluesy type bands in every one of these clubs, and it kind of reset my memory of going back there and sitting at the bar and listening to this, going, wow. So I dig your voice, man. It's awesome.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
Alon Fong.
Man, I love the track, and my first, upon rehearing it now, 3 weeks later, and the Oscars were the other night. This should have been in the Sinners soundtrack.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I love that movie.
Yeah, great
I
movie.
love that
right?
movie.
But yeah, the love the storytelling, love the lyrics, made me chuckle out loud listening again. That bump and grind going on. You can almost hear the ice cubes in the whiskey glasses shaking. You can smell the cigar and cigarette smoke, right? You can feel the sweat of the people dancing on the dance floor. It's all in there in the music.
I appreciate that a lot. That means a
Yeah,
lot.
man.
Thank you.
You know what your voice reminds me of? And it's not exactly like, but the impact that he had on the industry when he came in was Teddy Swims.
Oh, I
Who
appreciate that.
was this guy? And all of a sudden he's got this song that's just blowing up everywhere, and now he's blowing up everywhere. But yeah, I just feel like if you got with the right people, and hopefully you're with the right people with
Got
Steven,
Steve.
yeah, hopefully that comes out because I could see you having the same success that Teddy Swims had.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. I hope so. I'm just going to continue creating and writing stuff, and hopefully people will like it. You never know though. You never
Never
know.
know.
You never know. But it's what I love to do, so I'm just going to keep on doing it.
So we have Bob Chiappardi with us. We always put him off. He always says, I don't have to talk, but I like to hear him talk. So Bob Chiappardi, he brings a lot of good wisdom to the show. He is with stripjointsmusic.com. He is also a personal friend of your manager, Stephen Hutton. That's how we got you on the show. So Bob, you got any stories you want to tell us here? Are you working this song? Any feedback you're hearing?
We just starting, and like you said, Steven and I go way back to the Kid Rock days and
Oh yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, so whenever he presents me with a new artist that he's working on, I'm always anxious to hear what they sound. He's got great taste in music,
Yes.
and again, Freddie, you prove the point again. So
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you
really,
so
really,
much.
really strong. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I was Steve invited me down. You played out last week, and unfortunately I couldn't make it out.
It's okay. It's okay. There'll
Had
be
my
more
stomach,
shows.
but I'm sure you'll be playing again soon, and I'm definitely looking forward to coming down and seeing you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Real quick plug. If you want to hear more about Steve Hutton, I did a long one-on-one interview with him, 45-minute interview with Mr. Steve Hutton. That's on Behind the Curtain. That show just dropped last week. So go check that out if you're following along on Spotify or at our website, www.what'shotitsc.com. Okay, Danny, thanks. Cheap plug.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So, how can people follow you? Do you before I get to your socials? Do you have any other scheduled gigs coming up?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I will be in. I'm taking. We just got off tour last weekend with Eddie 9 Volt. We played in um, Nashville, Kansas City, St. Louis. I just got done in New York City and Chicago. I mean, not New York City, Chicago, New York City and Boston. And coming up, April, I think 20. I don't have it right here, but at the end of April, I think it's the 24th and 25th. I'll be in Atlanta and Chattanooga, so I'm very excited about that. And then I'm heading back home for North Carolina, South Carolina run in May, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Yes, sir. I'm stoked.
Chattanooga, man, they got a strip club there called Diamonds and Lace. If you get a chance, stop in. I do believe it's an 18 and up bar, so you can get in.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Little plug.
I've only been to one strip club before. I think I just turned like 18 and I went to a strip club. That's probably about the only time I've ever been.
What state were you in?
But I always love the music.
You gonna
What state
tell us
were you in? What strip club
what
or
state?
what state was the club
It
in?
was in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
Well,
ones.
we know
Gold
those
Club's
guys.
up there and Platinum's up there, and I know they changed names and sell a lot, so I can't keep up with
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're all called right now. Okay, now to your social medias where people can
Yeah,
find
totally.
your traveling schedule.
Yeah, you can find me. You can find me Freddie McClendon Music on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and if you just look up Freddie McClendon on all your streaming platforms, I should be there. Hopefully.
Fantastic.
Go follow and listen to the young man. He's rather talented, folks.
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes.
Thank you
I
so
look
much.
forward to hearing a lot more from you and Freddie. We
For sure.
appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you very much.
I appreciate y'all a lot. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all take care.